If you're over 65, I want you to picture something simple. You're rinsing dishes after dinner, or sitting quietly on the porch, or maybe you're halfway through your favorite TV show. And then, without warning, something shifts. The right side of your face feels strange. Your speech slurs. Your arm won't lift. A stroke doesn't always give you time to react. In fact, it can arrive when you're asleep, when you're laughing, or when you're standing in the kitchen making toast. But here's the part that nobody talks about enough. Up to 80% of strokes can be prevented. Not with expensive medications, not with hospital visits, but with a few small daily habits. Habits that begin right at home. So why haven't more people told you this? Not because they're hiding the truth, but because they simply don't know. Today we're changing that because this isn't about fear. It's about choice, about keeping your brain sharp, your independence strong, and your body ready for whatever comes next. And the best part? None of this requires a gym, a fancy meal plan, or a doctor's prescription. You already have everything you need: your own 2 feet, a glass of water, and the willingness to try. Over the next few minutes, I'll guide you through 9 science-backed habits that can quietly, powerfully protect your brain after 65. We'll walk through a day together, from the moment you wake up to the moment you rest your head. So take a deep breath. You've got time. You've got options. And it starts with what you do before your first cup of coffee, before your coffee, before your breakfast, even before you check the weather or turn on the news. Start with water. It may sound simple, almost too simple, but after 65, the way your body handles hydration changes. You don't feel thirst as clearly. Your kidneys become less efficient. And your blood, it thickens faster than it used to. Why does that matter? Because thicker blood has a harder time moving through your vessels. And when blood flow slows down, clots can form. Those clots can travel to the brain. That's a stroke. A study in the journal Stroke found that over 60% of people who arrived at the hospital with an ischemic stroke caused by a blockage in the brain were dehydrated. Not from extreme conditions, just from everyday habits. The fix? 1 small glass. Place it by your bed. When you wake up, drink it before anything else. You're not just quenching thirst, you're thinning your blood, supporting circulation, and giving your brain the oxygen it needs to think clearly. Think about this. Would you go on a long road trip without oil in your engine? Of course not. So why start your day with thick, sluggish blood when a few ounces of water could change that? And here's the hidden bonus. Staying hydrated helps balance blood pressure, reduce brain fog, and even improve energy. Now, instead of reaching for juice or soda later in the day, both loaded with sugar, try adding lemon, cucumber, or mint to your water. It feels fresh, it tastes better, and it keeps you on track. Remember, stroke prevention doesn't always come in a pill. Sometimes it comes in a glass. So before you sip your coffee tomorrow, raise a glass to your brain. Water first, always. Let's talk about breakfast. Not just what you eat, but what it does to your blood vessels, your brain, and your risk of stroke. See, after 65, your body becomes more sensitive to 3 things: inflammation, blood sugar swings, and rising blood pressure. And believe it or not, the very first thing you eat each morning sets the tone for all 3. So what's the biggest threat? It's not just greasy bacon or sugary cereal. It's chronic low-grade inflammation, the kind you don't feel, but that silently wears down your arteries, stiffens your vessels, and makes it easier for clots to form. But here's the good news. You can fight that inflammation every morning, starting with your first bite. The most powerful breakfasts after 65 share 3 ingredients: healthy fats, antioxidants, and fiber. Let's begin with healthy fats, specifically plant-based omega-3s. These are found in chia seeds, ground flaxseed, and walnuts. 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, for example, contains more omega-3s than a piece of salmon and over 5 grams of fiber. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Stroke found that higher intake of ALA, a plant-based omega-3, was linked to a 27% lower risk of stroke. That's a small sprinkle with a big payoff. Next, add color to your plate. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. These are rich in anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that help protect your arteries from oxidative stress. According to researchers at Harvard, people who ate berries at least 3 times per week reduced their risk of heart attack and stroke by up to 32%. And let's not forget oats. Unlike white toast or instant waffles, rolled oats are packed with beta-glucan, a special type of soluble fiber that helps clear LDL, the bad cholesterol, from your bloodstream. Just half a cup gives you about 4 grams of fiber. Want to bring it all together? Try this recipe: half a cup of cooked oats, half a banana sliced, a handful of mixed berries, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, 5 to 7 walnuts, a pinch of cinnamon, and if you like, a spoonful of plain Greek yogurt for protein. It takes just 5 minutes, but it supports your blood flow, lowers inflammation, and fuels your brain for hours. Compare that to a bowl of flavored instant oatmeal. Many packets contain 12 to 16 grams of added sugar, about 4 teaspoons. That kind of sugar spike early in the day can lead to a crash, inflammation, and worse blood pressure control. So instead of letting your breakfast work against you, let it fight for you. Because every spoonful is either building up your defenses or quietly breaking them down. Tomorrow morning, choose wisely. Your brain will thank you. You've just finished breakfast. Now what? Most people sit down, read the paper, watch the news, scroll a little. But what if I told you that just 10 minutes of gentle walking right now could do more for your blood sugar and your stroke risk than almost anything else you do all day? See, after every meal, especially meals with carbs, your blood sugar naturally rises. That's expected. But after 65, those spikes can be steeper, and they last longer. And the longer blood sugar stays high, the more inflammation it causes. It stresses your blood vessels, it pressures your heart, and it increases your stroke risk. Now here's the exciting part. A brand new study from 2025, published in Nature Scientific Reports, found that walking just 10 minutes after a meal reduced blood sugar spikes significantly, even more than walking at other times of the day. Why? Because your muscles become little engines pulling sugar from your blood to use as fuel. The sugar doesn't just sit there anymore, it gets used. That means less strain on your vessels, better circulation, a clearer brain, and it's not just sugar. Walking also naturally lowers blood pressure, boosts energy, and helps prevent that sluggish, heavy feeling many people get after eating. So how do you start? No treadmill required, no gym membership, just movement. After breakfast, lunch, or dinner, get up and walk around the kitchen, through the hallway, in circles in your backyard. Even just pacing in place while tidying up can count. If the weather's nice, take it outside. If not, walk indoors. Call a friend while you do it. Put on a favorite song. The key isn't speed, it's consistency. Instead of sitting and letting your blood sugar surge, you're telling your body, let's use this energy right now. Think about this. Would you rather let sugar build up and inflame your arteries, or move just a little and help your brain stay clear? It's an easy answer, one that only takes 10 minutes, 3 times a day. So the next time you finish a meal, don't sit just yet. Walk with purpose. Walk with intention. Walk for your brain, because every step is a small act of stroke prevention. Let's head back to your kitchen. Not for a meal, but for a habit so small, so automatic, that most people never question it. Salt. A dash here, a sprinkle there. a habit passed down through decades. But here's what most folks over 65 don't realize. Your body becomes more sensitive to sodium as you age. And even small amounts can quietly raise your blood pressure every single day. That matters a lot because high blood pressure is the #1 modifiable risk factor for stroke. Not genetics, not cholesterol, but pressure. Now, the American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for older adults. That's about 2/3 of a teaspoon. Yet the average American eats more than 3,400 milligrams, more than double. And most of it, it's not coming from the salt shaker. It's coming from packaged foods, canned soups, deli meats, frozen dinners, boxed snacks, even the so-called healthy veggie chips. So what can you do? You don't need to eat bland food. You need to retrain your taste buds and reclaim your flavor from nature. Let's talk garlic. Not just a delicious base, but a powerhouse ingredient. It contains allicin, a compound known to lower blood pressure and cholesterol. Roasted, minced, or sautéed, it adds both taste and protection. How about herbs like rosemary, thyme, oregano, and basil? These are rich in plant compounds that support healthy arteries while waking up your palate. Add a splash of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar to brighten dishes. Use extra virgin olive oil, not just a healthy fat, but a natural anti-inflammatory. Want proof it works? A major study in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that reducing sodium by just 1,000 milligrams a day lowered systolic blood pressure by 5 to 6 points. And every 10-point drop in systolic pressure is linked to a 27% lower risk of stroke. So let's compare two plates. You roast potatoes with vegetable oil and seasoning salt, boom, 800 milligrams of sodium. Or you roast them in olive oil with minced garlic, rosemary, and a touch of turmeric. Flavor, rich, sodium, under 100 milligrams. And your arteries? They'll know the difference. Instead of seasoning by habit, season with intention. Instead of over-salting out of routine, reawaken your senses to natural flavor. Because cutting salt isn't about punishment. It's about giving your brain and blood vessels the best possible shot at staying strong. And in just a few weeks, what feels different today will taste just right. Let's shift now to something we all need, but many of us don't protect nearly enough. Sleep. We spend nearly a third of our lives doing it, but after 65, it's not just about getting enough sleep. It's about getting the right kind of sleep. And here's the hard truth. Your risk of stroke doesn't go away when you lie down. In fact, about 1 in 4 strokes happen during sleep or in the first few hours after waking. Why? Because poor, inconsistent sleep raises nighttime blood pressure. It increases stress hormones like cortisol. It disrupts how your body handles blood sugar. And that combination, high pressure, high inflammation, and poor sugar control, is a perfect storm for stroke risk. A major study published in Neurology followed over 30,000 people for nearly 10 years. They found that adults with irregular sleep patterns had a 22% higher risk of stroke, even if their total sleep hours looked normal. That means it's not just how long you sleep, but when and how regularly you sleep. So what can you do? Start simple. Pick a bedtime and stick to it, even on weekends, even on quiet nights when you feel wide awake. Your body has a built-in rhythm, your circadian clock, that controls blood pressure, heart rate, and hormone release. Every time you shift your bedtime, you throw that clock off balance. Now let's talk about caffeine. You might love your morning coffee. That's fine. But caffeine can stay in your system 6 to 8 hours. And as we age, it clears even more slowly. So that 3 p.m. cup might still be in your bloodstream at 9 or 10 p.m., quietly sabotaging your deep sleep. Instead, try switching to caffeine-free teas like chamomile, lemon balm, or rooibos in the afternoon, or simply drink warm water with lemon. It soothes, hydrates, and helps you wind down naturally. Here's a good rule of thumb. No caffeine after 2 p.m., and in the hour before bed, dim the lights. Turn off screens. Let your body slow down. Because deep, consistent sleep isn't just a luxury, it's a form of daily healing. Your blood vessels relax. Your brain flushes toxins. Your heart rate resets. Think of it this way. Would you keep driving your car without ever letting the engine cool? So why push your body without letting it repair? Protect your sleep, and your sleep will protect your brain. Let's talk about something you can't see, but you can feel if you know how to listen: your heartbeat. One of the most overlooked stroke risks after 65 isn't just high blood pressure or cholesterol, it's an irregular heartbeat, specifically a condition called atrial fibrillation, or AFib. AFib happens when the upper chambers of your heart beat out of sync with the lower chambers. Instead of a steady rhythm, thump, 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 it becomes chaotic, fluttering, skipping, racing. And the danger: AFib increases your risk of stroke by 5 times. That's because when the heart beats irregularly, blood can pool inside the chambers. That stagnant blood can form clots. And if one of those clots travels to your brain, the result is a stroke, often sudden and severe. Even more troubling, many people with AFib feel no symptoms at all. It's silent until it's not. But the good news is you can check for warning signs right at home using just 2 fingers and 1 quiet minute. Here's how. Sit comfortably, relax your body, then place your index and middle fingers gently on the inside of your wrist, just below the base of your thumb. Feel that pulse? Count the beats for 15 seconds. Multiply by 4 to get your heart rate. But here's the key. Don't just count the number. Pay attention to the rhythm. Is it steady, like a clock ticking? Or is it irregular, fast, then slow, then fast again? If the pattern feels off, or if you notice fluttering, skipping, or racing, it's worth a call to your doctor. They can do a quick ECG, a painless test that checks your heart's electrical activity. Because here's what we know. About 1 in 10 people over 80 has AFib, and many don't realize it until after a stroke happens. That doesn't have to be your story. By checking your pulse once a day, maybe while brushing your teeth or watching TV, you're giving yourself a gift: awareness. Think of it like checking your smoke detector. You hope there's never a fire, but if something's wrong, you want to know before it becomes an emergency. Your heartbeat is one of your body's earliest warning signals. So listen to it, because knowing your rhythm might just save your life. Let me ask you something. When you're tired, busy, or just not in the mood to cook, what do you reach for? Chances are it's not the bowl of berries or the bag of walnuts. It's something quick, easy, maybe salty, maybe sweet, the kind of choice that feels harmless but slowly works against your brain and your heart. That's where meal prep comes in, not as a trend, not as a chore, but as a quiet, powerful tool to protect your health before you even get hungry. Think of it this way. When healthy food is already prepared, the healthy choice becomes the easy choice. No stress, no guessing, no last-minute temptations. And the best part, you don't need a chef's kitchen or fancy containers. You just need 10 to 15 minutes once or twice a week. Let me show you a couple of simple ideas. 1. Fruit and nut salad cups. Chop apples, pears, or grapes. Add blueberries or raspberries. Toss in a few walnuts or almonds. Sprinkle with cinnamon. Store in small containers in the fridge. Now you've got an anti-inflammatory, fiber-rich snack ready anytime. Sweet, crunchy, and great for your brain. 2. Overnight oats. In a small jar or bowl, combine half a cup of rolled oats, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, half a cup of unsweetened almond milk, and a few frozen berries. Let it soak overnight. In the morning, breakfast is ready, and your arteries will thank you. You can also prep boiled eggs, cut veggies, or even a savory mix of quinoa and roasted veggies with olive oil and lemon. Here's a tip. Store your meals at eye level in the fridge. When you open the door, the first thing you see is the right choice. And if you keep a grocery list on your fridge of go-to healthy items, shopping becomes easier too. You're not starting from scratch. You're following a plan that's already working. Because here's the truth. It's not about having more willpower. It's about setting yourself up to succeed before the moment of decision even arrives. Instead of reacting to hunger, you've already answered the question, what should I eat? And that answer supports your brain, your energy, your blood pressure, your independence. So take 10 minutes today. Prep a few things that future you will be grateful for. Because the easiest way to eat better is to make better eating easier. When we talk about stroke prevention, most people think of food, movement, or medication. But there's another factor, just as powerful, that lives outside your kitchen and beyond your routine: connection. Because here's what research is telling us loud and clear. Loneliness isn't just painful, it's dangerous. In fact, according to Harvard researchers and the American Heart Association, older adults who feel isolated or chronically lonely face a 32 to 56% higher risk of stroke. Not because they're doing anything wrong, but because loneliness quietly increases stress hormones, raises blood pressure, worsens sleep, and makes it harder to stick with healthy habits. But let's be honest, it's not always easy to stay connected. Friends move, family gets busy, and when you don't drive anymore, leaving the house can feel like climbing a mountain. So what can you do? Start small. Start where you are. Can you call a friend once a week just to chat? Can you join a walking group at your local community center? Or a gentle chair yoga class? Even volunteering at a food pantry, library, or church can provide purpose and connection in one place. And if leaving the house is difficult, look online. There are dozens of free communities for older adults focused on health, hobbies, and friendship. Even one conversation a week can shift your mood. It gives your brain stimulation. It gives your heart something to beat for. Let me tell you a quick story. Eleanor was 72 when she had a mini stroke. Her doctor told her to walk more and eat better, but Eleanor lived alone, and she was scared. So she joined a neighborhood walking group, just once a week at first. There she met Mary, same age, same fears. Together they became accountability partners. They reminded each other to drink water, take walks, prep meals, and laugh. 2 years later, Eleanor's blood pressure is down, her energy is up, and most importantly, she's happy. Because health isn't just about numbers, it's about people. So if you've been feeling disconnected, let this be your gentle nudge. Reach out, invite someone in, or let someone invite you. Because the road to brain health is not meant to be walked alone. Let's bring everything together with one final habit. A habit that only takes 5 minutes a week, but gives you the power to spot problems before they become emergencies. Tracking your numbers. Think about it. You wouldn't drive a car for years without ever checking the oil or the tires, right? Your body works the same way. After 65, changes can happen quietly, slowly. You might not notice a shift in blood pressure or heart rhythm until it's too late. That's why a simple health log can be one of the smartest tools you own. What should you track? Start with the basics. Blood pressure, aim for under 130/80. Resting heart rate, usually between 60 and 100 beats per minute. Blood sugar, especially if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. Weight and waist size. Sudden changes can signal deeper issues: energy, sleep, and symptoms. Are you feeling clear-headed, dizzy, tired? You don't need fancy gadgets. A $30 home blood pressure cuff and a notebook will do. Each week, jot down your numbers. Just once, you'll start to see patterns. Mondays are better, or that salty dinner spiked my pressure. And when you bring those notes to your doctor, they'll have more than a snapshot. They'll see a story, a trend, a clearer path to help you stay well. Remember, prevention works best when it's proactive. And here's something many people forget. Your mouth, eyes, and gut are part of this picture too. Bleeding gums could be a sign of inflammation in your arteries. Vision changes might point to silent blood pressure issues. Digestive problems, they could affect nutrient absorption, especially B vitamins, which are vital for brain health. So don't skip the dentist. Don't ignore your eye exams. And if something feels off, write it down. Because the earlier you catch a shift, the easier it is to correct. This isn't about fear, it's about confidence. Knowing what's going on inside your body brings peace of mind every single day. Let's take a deep breath. Look at what you've just walked through. 9 habits, all simple, all proven, all within your reach. You've learned how water thins your blood, how oats and berries can calm inflammation, how a quiet 10-minute walk can reset your sugar and your brain. You've seen that flavor doesn't have to mean sodium. That deep sleep isn't a luxury, it's protection. That a pulse check could save your life. You now know that staying healthy after 65 isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right little things, consistently. Because when you protect your brain, you protect your independence. You protect the mornings when you open your eyes and feel clear, the afternoons when you laugh with a grandchild and know their name, the evenings when you walk on your own feet to lock the door and turn off the lights. These moments matter more than we realize, and you deserve many more of them. So if there's one thing I hope you remember, it's this. You are not powerless. Even one small change today can ripple into months, years, and memories yet to come. You're not doing this alone. We're walking this road with you, step by step, choice by choice. You've got this. If even one of these habits made you pause and think, I can do that, click the like button. It tells YouTube to show this to more people who need it, people just like you. If you want weekly tips designed specifically for older adults who want to live longer, feel better, and stay independent, hit subscribe. And if there's someone in your life, a friend, a sibling, a neighbor, who's over 65 and might not realize how simple stroke prevention can be, share this video with them. Because the right knowledge at the right time can save a life. And now I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 9 habits are you already doing? Which one are you starting this week? Let's encourage each other. And if you'd like to learn more about stroke-friendly foods, check out the next video. It's linked right here on the screen. Until then, stay strong, stay curious, and keep choosing the kind of life that future you will thank you for.